A group of young Egyptians have seen the danger posed to journalists in Cairo and feel the coverage of the events on the ground has suffered because of it. So they're using blogs and social media to report from the front lines right in the heart of the Egyptian capital. Joining me are Teymour El Derini and Omar Abdel Ghaffar. They're joining us from Cairo. First of all, let me ask you, Teymour, you guys have been able to get messages out sitting there on your MacBook and Skyping information and using Twitter and Facebook. But tell me, why are you involved? What is it that's going on in Egypt that compels you to put your own lives at some risk to tell the rest of the world what's happening there?
Governor, first I'd like to thank you for having us. As you know, last Friday, internet was, a week ago, was shut down in Egypt. So we wanted to get out the word what was going on. So me and a couple of other friends who had the same beliefs, we created the Tahrir.org through a friend of us who's in the United States. And through landlines and tweets, we were able to send our messages. And the site now has a lot of blogs and a lot of pictures of what's been going on. That aside, the reason why me and others go down to Tahrir Square, we believe in change. We believe in democracy. We believe if others have been able to do it, why can't we? We want a voice. We want to have freedom of speech. And we also understand with freedom of speech there comes other responsibilities. I want to tell you a little bit about Tahrir Square. It's a little bit divided. Someone like me, I'm satisfied with what we've been able to achieve, as I believe we've gone a long way. But there's still others in Tahrir who won't budge. I'd like to reference Thomas Jefferson. In matters of style, swim with the current. In matters of principle, stand like a rock. And that's what the people in Tahrir believe in now. They have no trust in the current government or in President Hosni Mubarak. They want him to be removed, and then they want to see the whole parliament dissolved.
Omar, let me ask you, this is the only president that you have ever known in your life. He's been there 30 years. Yet I understand that while you want him to go, you recognize there needs to be a peaceful transition. What does that mean for you? What time frame do you feel most people are willing to accept for this transition to take place?
Well, we believe after Mubarak's speech, which he clearly said that his main agenda is to restore security to the nation. And his parallel agenda and priority would be to pave the pathway to democracy and to hand over Egypt to the Egyptian people and not create a political gap where an individual will come and sit down on the seat and take control. So we commend that a lot. And we believe that a lot of people do not trust Mubarak, that maybe he would not be credible enough. But we know at this point that we have to give the political system and the political process time for it to do those constitutional reforms. Those constitutional reforms may take time, 60 days, like they said. We believe that we need to wait and get the economy humming again. And if they do not abide to what they said, it won't be a 1 million march at this time. It's going to be 80 million. So we, as Egyptians that are educated, understand that this process needs to take its time. In other words, we want
Teymour, let me ask you very quickly. We just have a few seconds remaining. But I want to ask you, do you have anxieties or fears that the movement that you started to bring about freedoms and reforms to Egypt could in fact be co-opted by radical groups like the Muslim Brotherhood?
We're starting to hear a lot about this. This is our movement, and we're not going to let it go. We understand everyone has their agendas, and the Muslim Brotherhood are the most organized party in Egypt. However, they've clearly stated that they aren't interested in the next elections, and let's hold them to the world and hope it's true.
We also believe the Muslim Brotherhood does not...
Teymour and Omar, thank you very, very much. We're out of time. I want to say thank you very much, though, for joining us. And one of the things that becomes very evident is that social media and the use of the technology that we have, whether it's Twitter or Facebook, the Skype that we were just able to use in order to talk to these two young activists there in Cairo, creates a whole new capacity for people not only to communicate with each other, but to communicate to the rest of the world. And it is bringing about an entirely new way of bringing protest and bringing a voice to people who otherwise would have no voice at all. The traditional journalists will always have their place, but it's also the new media that is having a dramatic impact, not only in helping to create the very mood for such an uprising in Egypt, but to make it possible to organize it. An amazing world in which we're living. Well, they are leading the anti-government protests in Egypt, but who are the Muslim Brotherhood? You keep hearing about it, so who are they? And how anti-Israel, how anti-American are they? I'm going to ask Director of the Middle East Forum, Daniel Pipes, when we return live from Israel. That's coming up next.